What is up, everybody, and happy Friday. Earlier on in the week, I gave my son a haircut because he had picture day this week, so I had to get him right, and he personally asked me to give him a design. So later on in this cut, I'll go ahead and give him a little design that he asked for. But to get this started with the Babyliss FX trimmers, just going to create this first guideline, sort of dipping off at an angle towards the backside. Now I am only going to focus on his right side right now, and then I'll just work my way around his head throughout the cut. So after I made that guideline, I'm going to clean up everything underneath it, and afterwards grab my Bronze Series 9s and clean everything down to a skin. With no guard on and throwing the lever up just a little bit, closing it just a little bit, I'm going to create this first guideline. Following that, I'm going to grab the number 1 guard and create my next guideline about the same thickness as the first one. And right after that, I'm going to go on the very peak of his head right there, and with the number 2 guard, just start flicking out very slowly. I wanted to try and create my guidelines a little quicker and get them blended out a little faster. So following that number 2, I have the 1.5 guard, gonna blend out the darkest part at the top. And right after that, remember I did do the number 1 guard, but this one I did close a little more than the last one. So I'm just gonna start down fading from here, closing that lever a little bit at a time until it's fully closed, or until the line is blended out to my liking. I have the lever all the way open with the half guard attached, and I'm blending out that second guideline, not focusing on the very bottom one as of yet, but we will get to that. And as you guys can see, it is starting to blend out. Now no guard on, and I am going to start blending in at that bottom line. I will be closing the lever until it's about all the way closed, and then I'll just switch to my trimmers to get those lines blended out a little more. As you guys can see, my son has thick hair, like I always say, and by that I just mean like the roots, when you cut it down, it's just really dark. They maintain that darkness throughout, so it just takes a little bit more work to get everything blended out nicely. But with my Babyliss clippers and half guard on, and started with that lever all the way open, continue to blend in at that second guideline we created previously. Next, using clipper over comb technique with the number 1 guard attached. I like to use this because it just helps me to get the perfect amount of blend. Now I didn't want to detach that 1 guard, so I just grabbed the 1.5 guard and started blending in at whatever I wasn't able to blend with the clipper over comb technique. And now I'm just going to be doing a little bit of more detail work, touch up work, getting everything nice and blended properly. It's time to create that continuous guideline that we started previously, so I'm going to work my way to the back and just keep it right here at this moment. I am going to clean everything underneath it, and then here in a sec I'm actually going to start with the design. I had actually forgotten that I was going to give him a design, so I honestly just freehanded it, you guys. I didn't really know what I wanted. He just told me previously that he wanted a design with lines, so I just went ahead and did my thing. Hope for the best. The design is going to look really funky right now. I got to continue to outline it and use the straight razor to make it a little sharper, so don't judge me too hard right off the bat, you guys. Now I was doing my steps a little funky on this cut just because I was really trying to figure out how I was going to separate the design from that first part I made to the second part towards the back, just so I could get a good blend on it. So that's why I created that next guideline right there in the back, and then just started cleaning up everything underneath. Yo, I swear these Babyliss trimmers right out the box, fresh blade, they just hit so perfect. Previously, this is what I was talking about. I was just confused on how I was going to go about separating them, but I just put a line right above the last one I made, and I think that'll work out perfectly fine. So now with my number 1 guard attached, I'm just going to start blending out everything towards that back side, because once I get on the left side of the head, I'm going to be doing the exact same steps that you see me doing here. Now, no guard attached, I will go ahead and just start blending in at the very bottom line and then working my way up. I'm not too sure if I was accidentally creating like another guideline in the process, but I just feel it was just the way I was blending his hair out. It just took a little bit of more extra work. So I'm just throwing back the number 1 guard on and gonna pretty much start down fading again from here. I love using these Babyliss clippers with no guard when I'm needing to blend out like an area you see me doing here. They do a very good job, and you can kind of compare it to using the wall clippers and maybe having a half guard attached. So they're open pretty wide, the teeth on these Babyliss clippers. That top part, crown area, was a little too dark for my liking, so this is the number 2 guard attached, just flicking out at it. Now to blend that number 2 down a little more, I attached the 1.5 guard and closed the lever about halfway. I don't know if you guys could see it on your end, but there was still quite a harsh line on the bottom, so I just used the Bronze Series 9 to help blend that out a little more. So this next part was really easy. It was just a small section right here I had to blend, and I'm gonna keep it pretty consistent throughout, just going over the line with the skeleton trimmers and cleaning it up pretty good. There was still quite a bit of hair that was right there, so I wanted to bald it a little more, just using the edge of the clipper blade because it works the best. With that 1 guard attached and the lever all the way closed, I'm going to blend in at all that darkness, everything around the whole design area, because I want it to be completely even on both sections. Half guard is attached now and the lever is still all the way closed. I'm going up to pretty much all the way up to the design itself because I don't want it to be too dark and I don't want the hair to look too funky. So just creating an even blend was the goal here. Now, if I were to start blending from the top part of that design and just working my way down, I wouldn't be having to use as many guards, I believe. And that's why you see that I technically created another guideline that I have to blend out after I'm done with this bottom portion. I say this because when I first started cutting hair, when I would get to a part like this where I realized I did create another guideline, I would sort of freak out. But just take your time. Attach, for example, here a half guard and just play with the lever, you guys. That's how you're really gonna know which guard you should use on different lengths of hair. These Babyliss clippers are dope. I really want to do a comparison with these and the Ion Extreme clippers since they are so similar in size, shape, and I'm not sure about overall when they cut, but that's the determination that we'll figure out when I do a video, right? At the time of this video, I do have 40 subscribers, and honestly, I know it's not a lot, but I've been super thankful and just blessed to see that slowly but surely my subscriber count is going up. And in the month of August, I increased my subscribers by 20. So shout out to all of you guys. That's pretty dope, man. And for me not promoting myself on social media, I've not promoted myself at all to anybody, and everybody just subscribing to me, I'm very thankful for that. So shout out to all y'all. Getting right back into this cut, I am cleaning him up with the Skeleton FX trimmers by Babyliss. I think that's how you guys say it. Some of you say Babyliss, I say Babyliss, but tomato. On this right side of my son's head, it does curl up just a little bit, kind of like a cowlick, so I constantly have to keep brushing it in order to line it up properly. When I hit it with the trimmers, the hair likes to curl away from them, so it is a little more detailed work, but that's why you guys will see that this left side I'm on now, it's always going to be a little bit sharper at the moment, just until he probably gets older and the hair starts to relax a little more. Hopefully it does. You can see I got the Tomb 45 shave gel. This stuff is super slick and I like it a lot. It does a very good job and my son loves the smell of it. Just gonna outline the design using the corner of the blade. Now be very careful. This part is very sharp and I did nick him just a little bit. Didn't even realize it until afterwards when I was finished with the haircut. When using the straight razor, apply little to no pressure at all. A lot of pressure is not needed. The blade is so sharp that it honestly just does all the work for you. So just be very light and practice on a balloon. Put some shaving cream and that'll let you know if your handwork is just a little too rough. With my scissors, I'm going around the design, just clipping at any of extra hair that is sitting over the design or is just a little too long. That way it just makes it look a little bit cleaner. Now this is just personal preference, but the razors are only good for a one-time use, and since I used the previous one on his design, I switched it to a new razor blade. That way it was very sharp and it just made the lineup a little bit more crispy. I know this looks uncomfortable, but his head is perfectly and safely rested on the back of the chair. I do need to upgrade to a new chair here soon, one with a little headrest, that way for my adults that I be cutting, they could lay back and relax perfectly fine. I'm always looking at OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace because there's always a bunch of barber salons getting rid of chairs for really cheap. So we are here at the end of this cut, and I know you guys are saying to yourselves that this was probably a lot of work. I put a lot of detail work into this and just cleaned it up as best as I could. Here with the number 1.5 card, just making sure that back is blended nicely and using that clipper over comb technique to clean up any more bulk that is necessary. Not too sure if you will be able to see the design when his pictures come in, but as soon as they do, I will post them on the next video, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.
I know that.